I bought a brand new travel tripod from Ulanzi. Let's talk about it. Hello again, everybody. Welcome back to Rusty Brown Photography. I am Rusty. So glad you guys are here. I bought a brand new tripod specifically for travel, and it is a travel tripod, and it's from Ulanzi. Let's open it up. And here it is, the Ulanzi and Fotopro X-Aircross F38 carbon fiber travel tripod. I know it's a lot to say, but we're going to break this guy down, not do a full-blown review, but I'm going to explain to you why I got this one, how I settled on this one, and how I think this can level up my photography. This is an extremely lightweight travel tripod, weighs in at about 2.4 pounds. So just under 2.5 pounds, lightweight, but very strong. Build quality is amazing. You probably won't be able to pick this up, but the rubber grip handle with the emblazoned logo in it is super strong. Obviously the carbon fiber is good, and it has a lot of cool features that we're going to talk about here. So the first thing about this tripod, it opens up a little bit differently than your traditional tripod, in that instead of pulling the leg out and then clicking it again, this is a twist and lock mechanism. So each leg, you twist it, you pull it out, you turn it back, it locks at that point. So in essence, you twist it and go as far out as you want, turn it back and lock it at that point. So as you look at what I've done outside, it's the same thing. You can open it up as much or as little as you want to, because it will extend fully and it will retract the same way, so that when you're done, it goes all the way back in. It's a little different to get used to, but it does open and close quickly. So that's one thing. The next thing that's unique about this tripod is what's called the quick release plate here at the very top. It's not an Arca Swiss mount. It's different. So you push the button, the plate slides out, and here it is. This is the plate that goes on the bottom of your camera or cameras. I would recommend that if you're going to use this system for multiple camera bodies, that you order some extra ones so that you can just swap them out. I do prefer the Arca Swiss mount, probably because it's what I'm used to, but this quick release system is not bad. To put it back, it's the same thing. You press a little button on the side, it slides right in, and it's there. And oh, by the way, that same button that you pressed here, if you turn it counterclockwise, it will lock the plate on so that it cannot come out at all, even if you inadvertently press the button. So the Ulanzi quick release system has got some notoriety. It's a very strong system, just different than your Arca Swiss, and it will take a little bit of getting used to. You can go from 90 degrees, a full 90 degree down, to up to a negative 55 degrees up on the tilt, which is pretty extreme for a travel tripod. And for your panning, it will do a natural 360 degrees in either direction, nice and fluid, very smooth. Again, I think this is good both for photography and videography. We talk about some of the unique things that it can do if you want to get really, really low. It does it, and it does it a little bit differently than some other tripods. So if you want to flatten it out, the first thing you're going to want to do, as you see here, is you're going to want to unscrew the center column. You unscrew that until you get to the point where you can take it all the way out. Once you remove that, you can then flatten all of the legs out on the Ulanzi. Once that is flattened all the way out, you take your video head and you put that back on top of the tripod, and then you mount your camera on top of the video head. And as you can see, you have a full range of motion, especially in the panning department, and then you can tilt it accordingly. This might be handy for someone doing macro photography, or it could come in really handy for some very unique angles and some unique perspectives of shots that you want to get, whether in photography or video. I'm going to show you two quick examples here of how you can benefit from some of these angles. And although these are video examples, the same would hold true for photography. So in this particular case, you can adjust the legs so that you get the full body. Here you see, that you can get the full golfer. That's me. You can see the top of the flag that's in the hole, and eventually you'll get the action of the putt. So it's a low angle that's looking up at a weird and different perspective, yet you can still, see everything that's going on. The next thing I did when I was making the highlights from this particular golf trip a couple of weeks ago was I wanted to have a sequence of shots that just showed the impact of the golf club hitting the ball. So I wanted a low shot, say from the midsection of each golfer. So I want to really capture the shoes, the ball on the tee, and the ball strike. Now, you could set up a tripod like this, a small one, and then take the head and point it down and have that angle, but I think we've all done that. I like the idea of getting a little bit lower. I wasn't totally flat, and just focusing on, say, from about the knees down, in some cases lower, getting the shoes, getting the ball on the tee, getting the ball strike, and then I could have a sequence that later in the highlight, I just showed hit, 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 hit. So again, that was used in a video example, but you have the same flexibility with this tripod in photography. So that leads me to the question of why did I choose a specific video tripod? Because Ulanzi does make one that's strictly for photography, and it has a different head. It's called a ball mount kind of head. It's because I believe that the video head on a tripod, no matter what the tripod is, gives you and me more flexibility as a photographer. Because in the event you have to make an adjustment, even if you're not videoing, I find that the control I get from the arm on the video head is a little bit better than not having that. I'll show you what I mean just using a regular tripod. This is a traditional ball head. Now this is from a full-size tripod. It's a Benro. By the way, I'm a huge fan of Benro. Most of the large tripods that I work with are Benros. Been using them for years. Nothing but good things to say about them. So if you can imagine, both in the full-size, medium, and small arenas, a photo head is just that. And if you're going to make any type of adjustments, you usually get one thing like this, and you can move it around. You get where you want to get for your camera. It has an Arca Swiss plate inside. Your camera's on there. You take the shot. I think that limits you. Now, even on a bigger tripod, or let's say a medium one, like this medium, this is another Benro that I have here in the studio. It's heavy. This is just a medium one, but I got it with a video head because I want that flexibility. Now with these, there's a lot of manual things that you have to do. This handle comes all the way out. When you put it on a video head, you have to screw it all the way in. And if you lock it all the way in, you can't move it. But if you just loosen it a little bit, this allows you to get your north-south movement like that. And on the other side, we have another handle that when you loosen it slightly, this allows you to go east and west either way. And if you were doing video with this and you wanted to do some panning, there's the knob here. If I can get it to you on the camera right here. If you unscrew that knob, this guy, move this around a bit, thank you. This guy will rotate freely, nice and smooth. So even on my larger tripods like this guy, I prefer the video head because once I lock that into place, it's just as good as a photo head, but just with that much more flexibility. Take a look at what I'm talking about here using the Ulanzi. I put the camera on the Ulanzi. This is a little bit bigger camera. We'll talk about that in a minute. I bring it up to eye height. I'm 5'10". I had no problem with this camera on this tripod. I turn the little knob on the side of the video handle so that it drops that handle all the way down. It's out of my way. Now it's in a position to take pictures. So photography is just as easy with this as it is with a ball head, probably easier. Let's talk a little bit about weight distribution. So it's a small tripod. Obviously, you can only go so far on it. If you look at the center stack here, the totality of the tripod in the middle can take just over 20 pounds. I believe it's maybe 21, no more than 22. The payload on the top is a max 6.5 pounds. So 6.5 pounds can go on the top. So let's take a look at what that looks like with different camera bodies. So if you take a look here, the first one I have is a very lightweight camera. I have the Sony a6400, which in and of itself is only a pound before you put the lens on it. And I put the Sigma 56 on there, which on this mirrorless camera is the equivalent of, say, an 85 on a prime. Quick point to note here while we're talking about the Sony a6400. If you're still doing video on a full frame camera DSLR, you may want to consider getting something like the a6400. I have another one here actually that I'm going to put in rotation that I bought recently because the a6700 came out earlier this year, and when it did, it dropped the prices in the rest of the a6000 line. So to be clear, there's a 6300, a64, 65, 66, and now 67. But instead of chasing the end of the line, I went and got one of these again because the price dropped so dramatically and it does such a good job. What do I mean by that? My DSLR here, my A99 Mark II, shoots video, but at the 29-minute point, it will shut off and will probably be extremely hot when it shuts off. Well, these A6400s will give me 4K 60 as opposed to 4K 30 on my big body camera. Never heat up. There's no time limit. You can film till the battery runs out. Seriously, that's the main reason why I got it. It's a great, camera in and of itself. But if you think you're going to do anything with video, you may want to consider something like the a6400. The price point today, now that the 67 is out, is really, really good. So anyway, back to the tripod. You saw what it was like with an a6400 on it. Now, for those of you that have followed the channel for a while, you know that this is my daily go-to. This is the Sony a99 Mark II. So when we talk about weight distribution, all right, in this particular case, the body of the a99 is 2 pounds. The weight of the 24-70 is 2 pounds. So if you look at this clip here, I've got the 24-70 on the Ulanzi, 4-pound total payload, works fine. I can pan, I can tilt, I can zoom, no issues whatsoever. And the other thing I do when I go with my travel kit, like if I'm on the road, more times than not, all I have is that A99, a 24-70, and this beast right here, the G Master 70 to 200. So let's talk about weight distribution with this guy. So remember now, the camera itself is 2 pounds. This lens alone is 3.3 pounds. However, this tripod, this little, travel Ulanzi, handle this rig with no problem. So as you can see here, I've got the total roughly 5.5 pound payload on top of the Ulanzi, and it works fine. One of the things that you may want to do, I do it anyway, on the bottom of the Ulanzi, there's a little clip, you can see here, that you can hang something on. Remember I said you can put like 20 pounds on the bottom? What I tend to do when I put the heavy rig on here is I will connect my camera bag to that hook. It really helps balance it out. But the point being, this little guy will support your standard mirrorless camera, which is no weight at all. It will support a full-size DSLR with a 24-70, and it will support that same DSLR with a 70-200 with some form of support in the middle, which is really good when you're traveling. So you have the one bag that just has that kit in it. Now this fits right in that bag, or it fits in the backpack if I decide to go that way. Last thing I'm going to talk about, I'm going to do some comparisons to some of the like models that people tend to get. And again, I have no brand loyalty to Ulanzi. It's just that when I was looking around, this is the one that I favored the most for a lot of reasons. When you look at, let's say, Peak Design, right? The equivalent Peak Design, the aluminum one, let's see if I have it here. Yeah, the aluminum one is $380. The carbon fiber one is $650. That's without the video head. I will say in most cases, when you get these, the video head could cost more because again, it's more flexible. So $680 for a Peak Design. If we look at Manfrotto, the Manfrotto carbon fiber is $370. Again, ball mount only, photography head only, not a video head. Now I talked to you guys about Benro. I'm a huge fan of Benro. The Benro was priced very nicely. The carbon fiber was $256, but that was without the video head. I bought this directly from their site and I paid $210. And in addition to just getting the tripod, that's 210 bucks with the video head only. And they also included, this is called, it's in this box, it's called a Magic Array Monitor Adapter. So imagine, if you will, you're doing some type of shoot and you want to put an external monitor on the side of your tripod because you don't want to just look at it through a small camera mount. This is designed with the F38, and they threw that in for free. I think it's important to have a travel tripod. I've gone years without one, and either had to take something way too big on a trip or had to do without one. And having one that's light and strong, that doesn't cost an arm and a leg, was critically important to me because I want to get value for money and I want to have something that's going to last a long time. This thing has a lot of very unique features, one of which is, when you hit this little side button here, right? You know how most tripods will give you that. Well, this one will give you that. And in addition to this, it has incremental stops along the way. So when I get here, it locks. When I get here, it locks. Or when I get to its normal thing, it locks. But the beauty of the Ulanzi is I can pick whichever one of those I want in the middle. And if it gets to a point where I have to level up quickly, I can go down to the one that's already pre-programmed, hear the click, and I'm stable. That's pretty cool. I think I mentioned that it has a level in it, also pretty cool. It has a 360-degree ring on it, so you can determine, where you are if you're going to be doing some form of a rotation or some form of a pan in your shot. There are several Allen keys that come with all the stuff. One comes with the monitor adapter, got a couple here with it. And even on the tripod itself, it has a built-in Allen key already in there. It's magnetized. You push the button, it comes out, it goes back in. Very helpful when you have to attach things pretty quickly. Again, haven't had it very long. I'm pretty excited with this Ulanzi and Fotopro X-Aircross F38 video tripod. How many of you guys have a specific tripod for travel? And if you do, what is it? How long have you had it? And how do you use it? Does it help you level up your photography, or if you do videography, that as well? Thanks for tuning in. We appreciate you guys. If you haven't done so already, if you feel like liking and subscribing, that would really help the channel a lot. It goes a long way to helping me continue to bring good content. All right, so that's all we got. I look forward to talking to you guys next time. Take care.